Are you a boob guy? More a butt guy? None of the above guy. I'm a hat man. I like a girl with a big old hat. Yeah. I was awestruck when she walked in.
Oh my gosh.
Not her bod, but how she topped it.
What?
Looking so fine with the long brim. And she clothesline people often.
Watch out, watch out.
Taking up some space in the club.
Hey,
And I don't give a dang about the bud. You got a curvy hat. Damn girl, where's the derby at? Girl, your bucket hat is fucking fat. How much padding did you stuff in that? I think she got some work done, cause she's wearing a construction hat. Hey. Girl, you got the biggest hat I've ever seen before on your head.
are you kidding me?
I can't even fathom how it got between the door on the way in. Can I weigh it? She sent me a pic at work, had to close it fast. In the pic she's fully clothed with a bowler hat. Hey, girl, you know you're bad. Fuck a titty, show me where is the fedora at. An enormous ass brim like 83 inches. Like she came to see Biscuit. 3 hats, that's a triple crown, dear. She snapped, said my eyes are down here. Girl, you got the biggest hat I've ever seen before on your head. Okay. I can't even fathom how it got between the door on the way in. Can I weigh it?
No.
Oh, good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 76 of The Treat Show. It's been a year. We just figured out it's been a year since I've done a show. It is more than exciting to see you guys in the chat. Thank you so much. Might take a little while to get the channel, I don't know, back to something, but honestly, you guys, Homegrown Twinkie, Michelle, Mr. Leal, I am so excited to see you right now and cannot thank you enough for showing up. So thank you. I hope you guys had a good Easter and I mean a good last year. Oh, how are you? For a second, we got to get warmed up together. I am just so excited. Oh, we got Mousetrap in here. Oh, I'm just so excited. I'm so grateful for you guys. You have no idea. It's been too long. You guys have to put in the comments too how you've all been and give me some updates on your gardens, on your lives. I miss you all so much. I hope you see Gary in here. I hope you see Tark in here. You never know, but I'm so grateful for you guys. So I wanted to talk about a couple of different things tonight. The plans for the show in the future. Oh, we got Boom in here. Disbanded. Gosh, I'm just so stoked. But yeah, I want to get back to it. And I think with the original OG squad, it's gonna make it come together really nicely. I already have a couple shows planned after this that are a little bit more organized than even the past. I like to get a little bit more on point with my podcast this round, you know? New year, new all of it. Yeah. So the next show, I know there's a lot of podcasts already about this subject, But for some reason, I think that they're missing little things. Tips and tricks, maybe. I don't know. But micro and macronutrients. That's going to be the next one. I'm thinking realistically, instead of weekly, is it might go back bi-weekly right now. But keep an eye on my Instagram, because if I can, I will definitely try to get back to Tuesdays at 7:10 and try to honestly do it every Tuesday. Yeah. So you guys let me know how you feel about that moving forward. I think that subject would be kind of cool, because I do want guests in the future on the show, but honestly, there's a lot of podcasts and a lot of better interviewers doing that all the time. And I think I'd rather just like talk about plants and my own opinion about them. It's messed up, but it's the truth. So tonight, though, I know Dark Horse had his podcast talking about the devastating news of our location closing, but I haven't really got to voice my opinions on the last year and a half of us having our dispensary and grow. So tonight I'm just gonna talk about that a little bit and answer any questions that anybody else has, and kind of my experience in the industry and where we're at now. As you guys know, as I became a mom in the last year, that's cool. It's been amazing. Little baby Jax is like trying to walk right now, and it's just wild. We also have another little bun in the oven. So yeah, you guys get to grow up with me, I guess. Anyways, but that's a little update on the family. Dark Horse, I know that he's doing tons of stuff right now. He hasn't even opened up about so many projects that he's got going on right now. He's got a huge pheno project that I've been kind of prepping the plants before he starts his breeding magic. And yeah, I mean, he's got 400 plus phenos of all of his best stuff that he's kind of held on to for the last 20 years. And he's giving it a real go to see if he's got any keepers from his, most headiest of head stashes, I would say. But yeah, I've been taking care of those plants for the last few months, getting them ready. And I'm already excited by the variations that I'm seeing and characteristics in the plants. So I think that's awesome. I'm also going to bitch a little bit about some of the people, not people, but some of the experiences of that we've went through the last year and a half that I've unfortunately lost a lot of my genetics. Jason's lost a lot of his genetics. And it's the first time, and I would say at least 10 years, that I lost stuff that I've had for 10 years or longer, and same with him. So I'm going on a mission to get some things back, but also kind of refining my library this time even more, where before we both had over 100 genetics each that we've held on to for a long, long time that were clone onlys and things like that. And that was awesome. And it was a goal at one point to get as many of my favorites as possible. But now, honestly, I'm trying to slim it down. I'm trying to slim it down with the family and also really, really what's important to me, what stands out. Joseph Anthony, it's so good to see you too. Yeah, Michelle, I just don't even know what I do. Michelle, I will have to say, is a huge encouragement for bringing back the treat show. I'm just so grateful for you, Michelle, and I wish I could talk to you face to face and in person more. All of you guys, but this is what I miss. So I feel if we can get back to this, at least it's the sparkle to my day, week, month, year, all of it. So yeah. But you guys tell me some of your favorite genetics too. I want to see in the chat, to me, it's gotten very diluted in the last, let's say 6 or 7 years, I would say, where it's hard to find really genetics I'd say that you can trust are the actual clone onlys, or there's just so many breeders and so many variations now and phenos, and I don't know, I have very mixed opinions from that, even differing from Jason probably, I'm not sure, but I think that I don't know, like 15 years ago, it was so cool that there was such a limited selection of genetics, and everything that was around that time, including Bruce Banner, they were so distinctive, and it was so awesome. And they wore really sativas and indicas and a lot more of that going on, not so many hybrids, which, I know that there's a point to all of that, and there's some benefits to all that as well. But I kind of miss the days that there really was just like Sour Diesel, OG Kush, Bruce Banner, Flow. The list goes on and on. You guys put in the chat some of your favorite old school ones. But yeah, I've noticed in the last, like I said, few years that it's getting very purple, and it's getting very sweet. I don't know. A lot of the desserts, a lot of stuff like that going on. Rick Cole, Cody, it's so good to see you. Thank you for joining me. I really mean it. I think that this is going to be great. I feel like it's a brand new year, and even though I'm starting into the year, I think this is going to be such a different experience, even on my show, to really, really try to dive deep into like the educational side. I know there's plenty of podcasts that do that, and probably people that articulate themselves much better at times. But I think that you guys will like what we have in store moving forward. But yeah, I'm not sure if you guys know, but Jason and I opened a store together and a grow. Obviously, we've both been in the industry for a long time. I'll tell you a little bit about myself more, because Jason's obviously been really, really known. All these, he's got the followers. He's had all of it. He's had multiple stores. He's had multiple grows. I myself personally have been a consultant in the cannabis industry, not just in Colorado, but definitely mainly Colorado, for the last 14 years. And I've been able to work with some of the biggest companies out of Colorado. It's funny because the more time that passes, that stuff just like is nothing now. It doesn't really have any value. But at the time, it felt pretty special. For instance, is Rare Dankness. I was one of the first hires, and I think that those that have listened to my show know that. But I was one of the first hires as a head grower at Rare Dankness at their largest facility. It was the largest facility in the world for cannabis at the time. Obviously, people have surpassed that now, and Scott no longer owns the facility here. But at the time, that was a pretty big deal and a pretty big goal of his. And it took me 2.5 years to get the job there while they were building out the facility, and we were competing against the top growers in the world, which sounds ridiculous. I'm sure people are like rolling their eyes when they hear that. But as a female at the time, it was like a pretty big deal. I was like, I'm going to get this job. And I set out on a mission to really get it. And at the time I had the most commercial experience at scale compared to anybody else that I was hired with. And it felt pretty awesome. I'm not going to deny that. We have, different opinions now. It's funny because fast forward to current times, and I just saw Scott and Pam at the Hawaii Indo Expo last year, not this year. I know they were there, but we didn't go this year. But last year we were there, and it was just hilarious because I saw their booth and saw them, and now we're just, I wouldn't say we're like, I don't know. You just like wave to each other. You don't even smoke or something. It's weird what can happen in such a short amount of time. That was about 8 or 9 years ago. So not from the time that they started the project, but from the time that I was a part of it. And I think that Mousetrap, he knows, in Colorado, that was a pretty big, it was a pretty big deal. Scott, a little bit of background on him is he's been in it for a long time. Those that don't know is like Ghost Strain Haze, I would say, is probably one of his most popular strains. Moonshine Haze is my personal favorite from him. But he was really good at hazes, I would say. I like Leroy OG as well, but his hazes were my favorite. There's some drama and rumors and I'm sure some truth to Archive and him working together prior to that and some of these other things. But I don't know. We'll go into that some other day, or even if we care. But I think that this all stemmed from I found a magazine that Jason has that it says 50 of the top cannabis women, like just like women in weed. This magazine is old, but regardless, is one thing I do want to say is I thought it was hilarious because when I first started here in Colorado, I was only 18 when it was medical in Colorado. So way prior to recreational days, and I got into the industry just really young, just as nothing, just a trimmer, water bitch, like whatever you want to call it, whatever they needed, I was there. And it was one of my 3 jobs. I'm pretty sure I worked at like T-Mobile and some other shitty job, like at a restaurant at the time as well. Just I would say classic old hustling times. But when I got into it, there was no female commercial growers, like actually, and I mean this confidently, it was definitely a male dominated industry, and it still is. And I don't mean that like in a derogatory way towards either side. It's just is what it is. And, at the time people would like laugh at you if you were like, oh, I'm going to be a head grower. They were like, oh, no, you're not. But the best part is I didn't want to just be a head grower. I was like, I want to be better than all of you. And I want to, I want to grow the best weed anybody's ever seen. And I feel like on the flip side, because I was a female, is you had to really, really prove yourself. I would say harder than, and I don't mean to bash on anybody. This is not a bash. I know people have worked their asses off to participate in this industry for sure. But you really, really had to prove yourself. And there was something about being prepared to answer any question. You couldn't look like, the dumb blonde, that didn't know what you were talking about. And you had to be able to carry shit, and you had to it was just physically, mentally, all of it. I feel like you had to be a little extra, and all the time. And I feel as though the reason I want to touch on this is because there was 2 women that claimed to be involved in commercial shit. And I think Harvest Honey, if anybody's ever seen her on the gram, I won't go into it too much. It's not worth talking about. But and then there's another female. Those that know Verde Natural is Cassandra. She worked with Verde Natural for a long time. She's probably the closest thing to a woman I would say started a long time ago and has been in it for a long time and was able to make moves as a consultant and do some cool shit. She was with Verde for a long time. You got to give her props there, but I don't know. And then I think there's one more. Oh yeah, Anna from Cam. And so Cam was a dispensary that was actually right next to Jason's first dispensary, Delta 9. And Scott Reach worked with Anna at Cam. We won't go into that either, but basically those were my competition at the time. And it's weird to say this, but I did end up competing against all of them in different events throughout the years in Colorado. And it's weird to say this, but Anna, I found out years later, has never grown her own weed. So I would say let's just remove that as competition. And Harvest Honey, like I said, I just won't go into that because I don't have anything nice to say. And then Cassandra from Verde, I would say nicer things about her. I will. But it's hard to say that I respect these people. Yeah, to say the least. And I think that I will say that Cassandra had a good library that she established of genetics, which was really cool. I did compete against her the last time in around 2017 at Harmony Extracts. I used to be their head grower, and we used to compete against Verde all the time, but with hash, so it's kind of hard because you can't really, you can say weed way before that. I did win other competitions against them, but the whole point to all this is this weed magazine I saw from Jason is these top women in cannabis, and I have never been listed in a magazine, right? And I will never be listed in a magazine, I'm guessing at this point. And it's funny because, like, you guys will see online, maybe not anymore, but there was this group of women that was said, like, women who grow. And the reason my hashtag is women who actually grow is because these women would throw these weed events and they would get all this clout and they'd be like handing out all these awards, doing all this stuff. Adam Dunn knows them all. Like, Jason knows them all. It's just funny. There were these huge events, had snow globes and all the things, but none of those women grew weed. Like, not one woman in this magazine has grown weed, and especially commercially. And maybe their spouses and maybe their partners own dispensaries, and maybe that's how they're involved. Pam openly would say that with Scott, that she's never had an interest in cannabis. So I wanted to clarify all of this because Jason and I just so happen to both have a passion for cannabis and both be involved in it for so long. But when we got together, I was kind of nervous because I was like, I don't want people to have this misconception that I'm just with this guy, and I don't know. Like, it's even hard on our relationship sometimes because we had the same goals, same dreams, same motivating factors of having a store one day. So that brings me to is it took me personally a long time to have a dispensary, and we did do it together. And Jason has done it without me separately multiple times and out of state and on all kinds of things. I personally have consulted for a lot of stores and a lot of big stores on the retail side and cultivation side, and I really enjoyed both. I knew that I had to have retail experience to be able to actually competently open a store and know, you know, like truly what consumers are looking for, just all of it. You wanted to know everything from the ins and outs of this business. But I struggled for a long time closing deals with investors, not because I didn't have investors. Some of the investors I've had were awesome. ServPro was a really large investor at one point in time, which was a pretty big deal. I was a little bit younger and they had offered me, you know, like an endless amount to kind of go pick a location and pick some things. And I remember the day that we were closing and supposed to get the keys is this guy just called and he was like, you know, I have another project that came up and we're going to have to hold off on this. And I remember at that point, that was probably like my 10th or 11th investor. And I was like, you know what? I don't want an investor anymore. Like, they were trying to change the percentages. They're basically just trying to hustle you to do it all, but then own everything. And then me eventually buy my own company back. And I was like, why would I do this? And honestly, I'm glad I didn't. But it was hard. It was hard to like go through these things and you'd be putting up your own money and time and, you know, getting attached to different things, whether that be the attorneys and the brokers or just you were the person that was finding these locations and going through all the work. There was another location in Lyons, Colorado that I worked years on trying to set up an entire arrangement with buying land from some of the local owners there and next to a distillery, and had a whole plan and was going through my permits and things with the town of Lyons. And another company came in and did my exact deal and arrangement. And I remember some of these things stung. You know, they definitely hit you in the heart. But the good news is when I drive past all these businesses now or whatever it is there's been a lot of changes for them as well. And I think they're all blessings in disguise. Like at the time, I would say that was very hard to say or feel. But now I'm so grateful that they didn't work out. But basically, when Jason and I got this location, first of all, it was my dream address. Let me start there. 1110. I'm definitely a numbers girl and made me stoked. I was like, how can this go awry? And it's on Jason Street. I was just like, dude, this is ours. But yeah, I feel the building needed some work. And it wasn't completely shitty. I will say that. It wasn't completely fucked, but it wasn't great. And I won't go too deep into the details, but it was funny that the head grower at this location was somebody I had worked with in the past. That this particular individual tried to kill an entire 25,000 square foot facility to get me fired. And use these pesticides to kill my plants and do all kinds of stuff, honestly. And it was funny, but the place that we ended up buying, he was the head grower at later. This was years later. And it just felt good. It just felt good to be like, yeah, it just all felt right. But yeah. So I remember when we were walking it, there was like shit everywhere, like just trash. They hadn't kept it very clean, I will say that. And we weren't buying it with plants. That was the strange part in Colorado, is when you're buying a turnkey grow, is, you know, it's a turnkey facility. So there's going to be plants and genetics typically is what you're paying for in the license. But our arrangement, particularly, we didn't need plants or want plants from somebody else. Is Jason had his facility for so many years, and we were already operating together out of there. And already had our plants and genetics and things like that. So we could legally move them over and do all those things. So that was good. We didn't need their plants, but they left their plants dead there and just so much other. It took 7 roll-offs. If you guys know what a 30-foot roll-off looks like, is there was 7 of just trash that we removed from the commercial side alone, excluding the retail store. But it did feel so good. It did feel so good. One day I will post you guys pictures, because we didn't share a lot of the experience because it got so busy and so crazy so fast. But I would love to share it with you guys on here now. And even though we no longer have the spot, it would be great to show you how much work we did and yeah, what we were really working on and some of the obstacles that we honestly ran into. So we went through this remodel and we painted the building. We did a lot. We put a lot of money into the facility. We put a lot of money into the store, and we both collaborated our dreams, like truly, like down to like seriously, like the pens and the price tags and the displays and some of these things were just so thought out, every single part of it. And particularly our plants, is I will say there's things that I don't think a lot of customers are educated on or even honestly care about in when they're purchasing cannabis per se, that we really wanted to stand out. I know everybody wants to have beautiful crops and everybody wants to have a high-end brand, but we had worked both separately for a long, long time to ensure that the quality was behind our names. And I know not everything has been perfect, don't get me wrong, but it was really important for it to be as perfect as possible. And if it wasn't, there's shit that does happen sometimes. Then we were honest about it. I would say, it's speaking for myself especially, and I know Jason, but yeah, you'd be like, okay, well, this isn't quite up to the par, but we'll give you a discount on this or whatever. That would be like worst case scenario. But I'd say for the most part, it's Jason's always grown with soil and organically and pesticide free and all those things. And I don't grow that way. I grow sterile and hydroponically for the most part. But I know a lot of people have terrible opinions of that. But I think I used to really enjoy doing compost teas and living soil and all those things was the only way that I used to grow commercially. And through parts per billion testing and heavy metals and arsenic and honestly mercury, all the things that we actually learn about, though, the further your education goes, is I started questioning if it really was healthier for you to consume a quote unquote organic product, period. Because there's a lot of things that are great for a plant, but not great for you, ultimately in the long run. But we really wanted to run these plants correctly. We really wanted to prove on a commercial scale that not only can you have a perpetual harvest, but you can run genetics the full length that they need. A lot of facilities are operating at 7 or 8 week or 6 weeks even harvest times, and then have very, very short cure times. And it's strange, but we really wanted to have like an extended cure, an extended flush, I wouldn't even say extended, but it's just proper. Everything to be proper, you know, actually finish the strain when it was finished, actually through and through. So I don't know if you guys, as honestly people that smoke, if you've noticed like things like that, or if you care about things like that. I really genuinely am curious, but I know that we had plans to run like hazes, for instance, take 15, 16 weeks, some of them, sometimes even longer, but I say on average. So we had dialed in things like that to have those plans to actually finish that full length and have like 5 to 6 weeks to properly cure. And we're doing full plant cures. You're burping, like we can go into all the details in the future because I will have a cure show episode. But yeah, we really wanted them to be done beautifully. And for you to really get in touch with genetics again, the feeling that you could actually get an experience from smoking different strains and smoking different weed from different growers is if you're a person that believes in that energy being powerful or not, and you just want to smoke good weed, is we really wanted to stand out like that. So when we were doing these plans is we started with, like I said, about realistically 230 genetics is between Jason and I is, and they were old. We had a lot of old genetics that I personally have had in my library for over 12 years. And Jason's had his, I know, for even longer. He's taken in more stuff throughout the years. But yeah, we had a really solid combination going. So when I got pregnant, this is weird, but Jason and I decided when we started this dispensary and grow is that I was just going to be the only person in the grow and himself, that nobody else was going to be there. And people thought I was an asshole. And honestly, people didn't know that. People thought and assumed a whole different other scenario. So I don't know, but I was the only person in the facility doing the day-to-day. And we had a big facility. I will say it was a large operation at our new location. The grow is 10,000 square foot, which doesn't seem big, but it was big. And I felt so good to have that space where it was just both of us, because you had to work so much harder, I feel like, the day-to-day grind. You guys know, like pruning plants and just those types of tasks, not like feeding them, not like the little things, or it wasn't like that. It was like mopping all the rooms, mopping this huge ass space, and like spraying, treating, like all of those things, washing pots, washing domes, washing, like all those things that like a lot of other facilities that size have assistants or helpers, or they'll have, like, I would say even at the scale that we were operating, people would assume that we had 10 people at least on our grow staff. And it was just funny because we would kind of just like not go into it. But the reason why I really wanted that and why Jason wanted that is cross-contamination is one thing that I've struggled with in the industry for a long time. And even with just us going in there, we've still ran into problems. I'll just be honest about that. But we really wanted to eliminate all of that. And then another thing that I have found over the years is it's really, really difficult for me. And I don't know if it is because I've been a female. Correct me if I'm totally wrong. Is I'm not trying to be biased with this experience at all. I've had a lot of people, though, that you'll trust so much, and then they'll come into your facility, and it's not just like them stealing cuts. That's almost like a given. Like, it's hard. That's just gonna happen. But it's more like they'll say that they're gonna water, and then they don't water, or they're just shit like that, and it will end up costing you some of your most precious items or plants, or just like going outside for a cigarette or smoke weed or whatever they're doing, and going to the park and like frolicking around and then coming back in, and I don't know, stuff like that. It just add too much shit to our plate. So when I had Jackson is the whole time I was working at our facility. That's what nobody understands. The day my water broke is I was going to work even after my water broke because I was harvesting a room. It was like, I have to finish this harvest before I let anybody else come in here because I don't want anybody to fuck this up. It was our first harvest. It's just the way our timing fell is it was our first harvest since we had gotten that facility. I personally always harvest my own weed. It's really important to me, no matter how big or small the room is this was a big room. But we had like 200 plants or so in this space. So I guess it's not that large, but no, I did it all by myself and I wanted to do it all by myself. And I think I had 7 plants left. This is ridiculous, but it's the things that you remember. And yeah, my water had broke, like I said, and I went there to finish the 7 plants, and they were like, no, you have to go to the emergency room. And I was like, oh, and it was just so hard for me because I tried to prep as much as I could possibly prep. And then I ended up asking a friend of mine that worked at Dank by Pank with me. And a little quick thing is when I worked at Dank by Pank is I let go of 3 of their staffs, full staffs. And I ran their facility by myself for a long time in between of these things. And to get him where he was doing really good. We were competing and we were placing really well. And he just opened Dank by Pank and had a really strong reputation coming out of the gate. And yeah, so we wanted to keep it that way. So kept going through people. And it sounds so harsh, but those that actually work in the industry or don't, honestly, it's harder than you think to find good employees. But Doug was a person that was actually at that spot with me, and he was somebody that really stood out to me because he would just do whatever I asked. And it was nice. He wouldn't argue with me. He wouldn't there was nothing like that. He was just like down to help. And I really appreciated it. So he's helped me for years at other projects and other places and things. And I was like, Jason, I really trust this guy. And I trust that this is a good decision. And Jason is also having to step out for the first time. We both had to leave with our son and going through becoming parents for the first time. And it's the first time in our careers and first time with our brand new business and our first harvest and all these things that were like, oh, this is so scary. But we did it, and I put my trusted friend in there, and honestly, about 48 hours into it is he called me and was like, Jay, this is like so much harder than I thought, and this is like way too much, and I thought that I had set him up. You guys, I had thought that I had taken away the biggest bulk of like shit. Like I'm like, oh, this is easy. You just gotta like break down these plants in a couple days and just got to check the humidity in the room. You got to dose some reservoirs. Like the plants are defoliated. Like I'm just thinking like my clones are like, I have full huge rounds of clones. I'm like, everything's good. I'm like, I got my mom's backed up. I got like everything I felt good about. And I was like, you got to make sure it gets hit. You got to make sure, the irrigation's working. But anyways, about 4 days into it I had lost my clones. So, and that was like the starting point, right? Like that, it was like 1,300 clones or so, and clone orders and just all the shit. And so, anyways, but most importantly is the genetics. Is I'd cut a lot of these clones as backups because we had moved these plants into flower to fill our rooms and fill our facility for the first time. So, anyways, my moms weren't like that big, and all that stuff was kind of going on at the same time. So. Then when Jason had came back I'm just going to say it, is he had powder mildew everywhere. It's everywhere. He kept telling me that he was doing all this shit and like spraying and defoliate, like just some of the normal things that I talk about that are very important. And when you're doing things at scale, I think it's just as important if you have a couple plants. But if you're doing it at scale, the repercussions of neglecting something for even like seriously like 2 days or something like will just slap you right back in the face. And that was our bad. Like I could see him on camera and some of those things, and you're trying to help from afar, but like honestly we did have a brand new baby. Like there's only so much you can do. And I feel like so we ended up getting powder mildew in 2 of the other rooms that were more mature I want to say one of our rooms when we were harvesting, like I said, when I had finished that harvest, is that we had one other room that was at week 6. And the last room that was close to, I guess, sorry, I'm picturing this in my mind, is I want to say the other room was maybe at week 8. And this is only because we filled the facility the way that we had filled it for this first round. But yeah, so the powder mildew got on this mature weed, and then by the time that we got back to the facility, we had to throw away our crops. We had to throw away our full fucking commercial room. So these harvests, and I'm just not going to beat around the bushes, these harvests cost about 50 to 70 grand to get to harvest, right? Like, and that's with everything, but it's pretty hefty. And, you know, maybe if we had a lot of funding or like maybe if we had all this backing or something, this is just like us, you know, this is us. So anyway, yeah, Jason and I had both seen it, and those are the hardest things that I would say is you have to pay your bills. We have other employees that work at the store, and you know, Excel and blah blah blah, you guys get it, but we had all these other things going on, and it hurts. It really hurts when you put all this love into these plants. I think it's not talked about enough commercially, is every single one of those plants was touched by me every single day. And I truly mean that. Is they're not treated like nothing, and they have, you have all the attention to detail on each and every one of them. And it is really painful when you're staring and looking at a crop that you put all this love into, and then so quickly something happens like that. And there's ways, I mean, I'm going to be real about it. I'm a consultant. There's ways that you could finagle things, and you could fuck with things, and you could like release it. But we were like, this is going to damage our name. Like even processing the material, we wouldn't process the material because we were like, you're going to jeopardize a guy at the lab talking to so-and-so about the quality of weed we grow, when this isn't even the quality of weed we grow. And so yeah, so that happened. Yeah, we just threw away those rooms, and then we move on. And the room that did get harvested, that was like hanging and going through that process, he ended up not finishing the processing of, and so that was just a lost cause as well. And then our AC went out. And I remember that it was just like, it was just thing after thing after thing. And honestly, we both, you can expect that. I mean, you guys know, like, you can expect that. And it was like the middle of July. Like, I mean, that's when the shit happens to everybody. But we ended up replacing the AC units, and then the homeless riffraff came through and ended up just stealing all the copper out of it and fucking it up again right after we just replaced it. And it was just shit after shit after shit. And as you guys know, our store got broken into, and there was just so much shit all the time. Somebody started a fire in our employee's car in the back. And like, I don't know. At a point, it was just like, okay, you're spending a lot of money, and we're trying to work through these things. But anyways, is I ended up losing, and Jason ended up losing about, I don't know, we had 40 genetics left after this. All in all, is like our moms, they lost, and our clones we lost, and our rooms we lost. So I had a stash backed up somewhere else that was about 40 of our strains that I was able to keep, and we had to restart from. So we did. And I don't know, it's like we started seeing that people, and maybe you guys know that are in the market, is like, whether it's the economy, I'm not exactly sure, and I'm not judging anything, but like, I feel like people have grown accustomed to paying a different price point for cannabis than when I was growing up in weed, or the weed I've even worked with in my career. It's like most of our weed sold for $100 an ounce, let's just say, most of the time. And I feel like now you're competing with $100 ounces at a store, which I know you guys have heard Jason talk about this, but the store is really expensive. It's really, really expensive. Those margins don't even come close to covering shit. Not even commercially, not. we could grow. That's what we figured out. We could fill our whole facility as tight as it could be filled. Honestly, we could produce 100 pounds a room. We had 3 rooms. So you could produce that and we could sell it. We could afford to drop our pounds extremely low where the market's at in Colorado. I will say probably everywhere at this point is we could compete like that where people are like begging for $1,000 a pound if they get it. And now really everybody's sitting about $300 to $500 a pound wholesale. And it was just like when we're looking at that, our cost of producing it is way more than that. We're about $800-900 a pound to produce it. And so we're like, why are we doing this? And it was really, really, really hard. It's like to make this decision of like, we're looking at our finances for so long. We're sacrificing every single thing that we can in our life. So we're literally like our own living expenses for years, just trying to be like, okay, we got to put this back into our business. We got to put this back into our business. And we're watching like our staff just not give a fuck. We're watching like the customers not give a fuck and like everybody. And then honestly, even the people in the industry, like amongst each other and like as cutthroat as this has all gotten. And it's always been pretty shitty, but like now it's like, Jesus. And so I think, yeah, we looked at each other and it was the hardest decision I think I've ever had to make, honestly, with Jason. And we're looking at each other and we're like, okay, we haven't profited, obviously, like even buying wholesale and selling other weed and doing everything we never wanted to do is we're sitting here and we're like, okay, this is costing us, upwards of $40,000 or $50,000 a month, like in loss, like on top of what, our normal operating costs are, but this is just loss on loss on loss. And I feel like we were like, do you hold on to this for like your ego? And this is just us. I'm not saying that other people are in this position or anything like that, but I was like, do we hold on to this for our ego? Like we have this big ass building that people drive by. I can say that we own this dispensary and this grow. I can say that we blah, blah, blah. And I was like, or like for Instagram, like fuck, like it's like, or do you really start evaluating your business and remind yourself that like you're in business to make fucking money. like it's like I can grow weed wherever the fuck. Jason can grow weed. We can grow weed wherever the fuck that is the quality we want to smoke. You guys, I know my crew is like that. You guys all grow. You guys all know, like that's never going to be taken from you. It's just like, we'll figure that shit out. That's no problem. But it's like, do I really want to be competing with people anymore that are like terrible fucking people? Like when I look at all the examples, the reason I said Rare Dankness earlier and some of that stuff, when I look at these people for what I used to see them as and the pedestal you'd put them on, and there's much more people like that, Capulator, whoever the fuck it is. Miss Mad Reefer, she's all popular in California doing God knows what. But like, I think the more that you work behind the scenes and the more that I've gotten to know anybody famous in weed or got to work with them or however you want to look at this, the more and more disappointing it truly is. And the more and more petty it really is. And I think, yeah, it's painful to say this, but I was like, Jason, we have to step away. We have to let it all go. We have to let it all go. And then if we're meant to come back to this, because it's hard to let go of, and it is a part of our lifestyle. It's honestly, unfortunately, probably what defines each of us as people. Is I was like, we're just gonna have to come back. If we have to buy another store one day, if we have to buy another grow, and it was really hard. I remember the last day of emptying everything and walking through and just like being astounded with how much work we did and how much money we put into this and how much it came to fruition, and to really like see it empty and bare bones before we do the last walkthrough with our landlord and give back keys. And it was tough. And we went through that just a year prior with Jason had, his facility for 10 years, and we went to sell it to 8 Mile Dave. Mile High Dave, I guess is his real name. I call him 8 Mile, but he like fucked up our facility and nobody knows, but Jason paid like, honestly, I'll say it because Jason won't, but he paid about $150,000 just to get this guy to give this guy an opportunity to get his first harvest. And he really believed in him. And he was like, this guy just needs help. Just like, I don't know. He just saw him as like a really caring grower that never had funding and didn't have anybody to help him get there. And we were like, okay, we have a license. We have a facility. Like, we trust you. Let's do this. And he completely just fucked us left and right. and then just like demolished the facility. And it's weird, but we've gone through that a lot in the last few years, and with other friends and other projects and lots of stuff. That this one, I will say, we left our building immaculate, beautiful, way better than the way we fucking got it. And I think that as a cannabis grower, that's how you should be doing shit. Nobody like talks about that, but I feel like seriously, this like shitty shit, everybody's got to change that pattern. But I don't know, guys, I think it's been quite the learning experience. It's been tough, but the truth is it brings you back to like why I really love growing and why I love breeding and the people I really do love in this industry. Like even seeing you guys in the chat tonight. And the hardest part and weirdest part is like when I was on the Adam Dunn show is you get to meet a lot of people and you get to see a lot of people at these events. And honestly, prior to Adam Dunn is like, I feel really blessed with some of these people that I've worked with and opportunities and whatever. At one point in time, that was so important to me. And I do feel like now it doesn't matter to me. I don't think my number has moved or increased on Instagram in like 14 years or something. And I have realized that I'm probably going to always be a part of the Cool Kids Club, but never part of the Cool Kids Club. it's for some reason people like, the Jungle Boys or whoever, they always get these breaks of like into that crowd. And it's weird because if you guys only knew how many of them I've worked with, and it's like they cover you up, they hide you. It's like you're a secret, or they got to keep you more secret. I don't know. But even like the Glass Boys, this is funny, but some of these glass blowers, I don't know those that are into glass, but I did get hired privately by a pretty elite group. and they ended up saying I stole a fucking pH probe from them. And it's funny because I was like taking care of these people's like plants and houses and like fixing their plants and doing their breeding projects and doing all these things. And at their homes, like while they're like fucking partying in California or wherever the fuck. And it's hilarious to me. I'm like, stole your fucking probe. I could have stolen everything you fucking owned. Like, it's like if I was that type of person, like you wouldn't have any shit. It's like, anyways, but I see it's because people don't want to pay people and people don't want to. I did not steal anything from these people. Sorry. But no, it's just, I just feel like people don't value, they just don't value enough anymore. They don't value people. They don't value each other. And it's not just in cannabis. It's gone deeper than that. And I think this like chase for fame or this chase, I'm not sure what it is, but I'm not interested in it. And I think that it's so satisfying to also like go through its own learning courses. And like I said, like it has been painful and it has been hard, and it's been hard to like even talk about or face and accept. Like we still have to drive by these places and continue with life. And honestly, it's hard, but I do think that it's for the right reasons. And I think that for all of us that are going through obstacles or have like a dream or a goal, as I think about this with my son, is like, if I was to go back in hindsight, like I have so much regret for 1 second of like my past and trying to pursue the weed industry and doing all these things. I'm like, God, I could have done anything else. But honestly, the truth is I think all of you guys can make anything happen that you truly, truly want to make happen and that you really believe in. And I think if it is cannabis, I think go all the way. Go all the way. There was nothing like that feeling of competing against the best in the world, like I said, and being part of them. I remember my attorney and I remember my broker referring you out to these really, really good jobs, like and saying like you're the top you're the top 5 growers in this, and you're the top in such a big range of people and talented people. And I think it sounds so weird, but those things were what was so important to you at the time and what you were working so hard to prove or do. And I think now it's just shifting. Is I'm like, if we can create this like small, tight little family niche of a group of people that I feel really blessed, because I think we already have this, is like people that support Jason and I together, separately, like whatever, clones, seeds, like even consulting, as I still do consulting, is like, I think it feels way better. It feels way better to come back to like why we started in this and what really does matter. And you guys are it. so I think for the next year is I'd really like to hone in on that and kind of remind myself of like how this all began, and the love for the plant itself. Is there's nothing like that feeling of just being in Zen mode and at peace with your plants, no matter if you're in your basement, if you're in fucking wherever you are. It's like there was such a privilege and trust that used to be in this industry when you let somebody come into your space, and especially when people ask for help. It was such a privilege. It was, and it still is, but I feel like we're starting to get our libraries back, and we're starting to just kind of, just trying to get back to it all. Jason's got, like I said, this big breeding project coming up, and I think that's just so exciting. I think this is all awesome. And it's really shown us who is really good in this industry and who really, like, we need to move on from. More money, more problems. That's so good, Joseph. You're totally right, though. That's the truth. It's like, I know Jason has had his lots of projects in this industry, and I've had lots of projects, and I can tell you that we've had good ups and good downs. We had all the above, and I think it's funny, but I look at, it's probably cost us $2 million to do that venture, and that was on the cheap end, honestly, and I look at like what we actually got out of that, and I just think it was a lot of learning lessons. And it wasn't learning lessons like even the things I bitched about with the plants and things like that. Is we knew that we could have fixed all that and continued moving forward and had another harvest and had another. But when you're looking at everything, it's like I said, when you're looking at your staff, when you're looking at your customers, when you're looking at, you're like, this isn't good. This isn't good anymore. Like, I don't want to be pissed off coming to my dream facility. I don't want to be sad walking into my store and people just doing all the wrong things and saying all the wrong things. And I don't know. It's just better. It's just better. I'll think about when I started as like $15 an hour in this fucking industry and was like, I'm going to be your boss one day. and people like hated. They were like, fuck you, it's never gonna happen. But it felt good. It felt good that you it was so important to me to like do a good job. And now the people that I see in it, it's just so not important. At least the people I'm around. I know there's still great workers and stuff in this industry. I just feel like we didn't have that. We did not have that. We had a squad that we had been close with separately and together for a long time. And I think that made it harder. I think that definitely made it harder. But I also think money, though, it's weird. It's like I am starting another business and I can't wait to tell you guys about it. And I think it's going to be more money. And I think it's going to be awesome. It's a completely different, I will say it's separate from cannabis. Jason and my family is the only one that knows that I'm doing this, and it's something that is really exciting and important to me. It's something that I also never, ever would have thought that I would have done anything but cannabis. So I still think that cannabis is something that will always be in, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we get another store and another facility again. I just think this particular year and in this market and economy, I just don't think it's not the time. there's other things too, like social equity and like some of the shit that the state's doing and fines that the state's doing is really quick, and then I'll let you guys go. We wanted to build a wall. I just think it's funny is we were going to transfer our MIP to this location, and we were going to build a wall, and we were like, okay, like we got to get the permits, we got to get the guys to do the wall, so we're going to get the wall, but you have to get the MED, which who regulates us, is to come and like approve of what the fuck we're doing. So we have our attorney come in and do a walkthrough, and our attorney's like, yeah, you could probably move the MIP, but they have to do this radius check and blah, 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 fucking blah. But they actually came in and said that we would have to upgrade our doors because a new regulation went into effect that month in Denver only. So those that have Boulder Groves and like wherever else in stores, like don't worry about this. It's Denver only. Is you have to have a 5-point locking door and on the inside, not just on the outside and on the inside. So don't get me wrong. Our store wouldn't have probably got broken into if we had this fucking door. But the truth is, so we have 12 doors just on the outside of our building. And so if we were going to do the inside doors that they were requiring, anyways, it would have cost $100,000 in doors. Maybe more, honestly, but a minimum of $100,000 in these doors. So we were like, we don't want to get these doors. We want to build this fucking MIP out. And, yeah, so anyways, our attorney was like, well, if the med comes by and fines you for the doors, they'll give you a little bit of wiggle room. It's not like, I mean, this is what I mean, is they'll give you like 2 months to get the fucking doors done. But it's like upwards of a $60,000 fine if you don't get the doors, and then you still have to get the doors. So you'd have to pay the $60,000 plus pay for the $100,000 in doors. And anyways, it's like we kept having this stuff in weed that is just at a point, like you're just like, I don't want to just keep giving you guys money. Like taxes and everything else, like it's something that is like through the roof. And when you own a store, wholesale taxes alone, like when you're doing like cannabis, like just grows, I guess, to each other, it's a lot more manageable. But it's not great, but it's more manageable. But when you're doing store shit, particularly, it's fucking outrageous. And I don't know. I'm just not a fan of, yeah. So we participated. I honestly was a compliance officer, and I love compliance. It's hard to say this, but I do. And I am really into like that side of things. But certain stuff, you're just like, honestly, 10 years ago when we were all making $4,000 to $6,000 a pound, sure, fucking fix the doors. But when you're competing, like Mousetrap said, if you're competing for fucking $600 pounds, it's like, fuck you guys. Like, I don't like, like it costs us, we're already in the negative. So it's like, let's not talk about the fucking doors. You could honestly just rob me for fucking everything because you guys already are. So it's like, just take it all. Just fucking take it all. And that's cheaper than the fucking doors. So I don't know. It's sad, guys. But I'm sorry that I just bitched this whole episode because I didn't want to just bitch this whole time because I'm so excited to see you guys. And I love you all so much. I just vent it all out. I just had to get it all out so we could move on from that. And yeah, and I want you guys to tell me what you think would look better on the backgrounds and like what you think would be some good subjects for the show, because I think it's going to be awesome. The reason that I said the micro and macronutrients is because sulfur particularly, this sounds weird, but I noticed that a lot of people don't know that sulfur offers a lot of other additional benefits to your plant that has nothing to do with powder mildew. I'm not saying that's or russet mites. Like there's just a lot of other stuff, not as a treatment, should I say. It's like things like that I want to expand on, or like what these nutrients are actually doing at certain times of your plant. Maybe you guys already know that. Maybe it's boring. Maybe there's like a person that has a way badass podcast. Send it to me. But I feel like that's just the first one I want to dive into. And then cloning. I made the shittiest clone video you guys know in the past and couldn't get anything to work in my favor. So this time I'm going to have Jason do it with me so that he can follow me with the video camera and ask me questions like while I show you guys how to clone sick plants and healthy plants and like the correct plant, like, or part of the plants to take the clones and just the way that I like to clone. And even the follow-up cloning process, like, and hardening them off. I know a lot of people have troubles hardening off clones. So I want to do, those are the first couple episodes that I really want to see how you guys feel. Yeah. Anyways, I love you all so freaking much, and it felt so good to see you here tonight, and I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me. I really hope to see you again, and I hope you have a beautiful week, and I love you all. And, yep, I'm going to try to do this. We'll see. Okay. Peace and love, squad.
Rip it on. No.